Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yay, now we're recording. I'm not going to stream it live or anything, you know. I know I did that to a Lily during her one-on-one the other day, and then after the one-on-one, I was like, damn, that was, I might just do that another day, but tonight it's late, it's fun, and let me just record this part. And thank you for letting me record this part. And this is Jennifer Hausman, but I call her Ruby. And thank you to any Lilies or any consultants that are watching this replay. So hi, how you doing? LaWanda Johnson, Senior Director, Board of Directors, 14 years. And this is my rhythm of a very basic beginning to end party. I'm going to tell you what games I play. Hell, I might even tell you the products I show off. And I use, still to this day, my friends, my new consultants who are starting to do online or in-home parties, I still have an at-a-glance for notes. It's called my party menu, and I have it on a Google Drive, and I can easily share it with you, and you can easily move the pictures around, take me off, put you on, same, you know, change your stuff up. It's a beautiful thing to have, especially like me and Jen were talking about. If you get squirrely or if you get sidetracked with a really awesome, sexy story from a client in front of you that you're just dying to hear this, just like, I got to tell you the story. And I'm like, okay, I want to hear it. But then I got to remember me, myself, and I, as a consultant, I've got, you know, work to do here. I got a service to provide and I've got bills I want to pay. So right here, here is, I start mild, I go to wild. I usually show maybe 4 to 5 products out of the bath and beauty, skincare, massage, you know, maybe 5 to 6 items there. And when I start the party, I make sure I go around the room and I call it X marks the spot. And it's right here on their wrist, and it's Basic Instinct. And it's kind of like when you show up to a concert or an event and they got to mark you for being there. That's what I'm telling them, like, hey, it's our naughty fun night. Let's get, you know, let's get a plate of food if you want, if you're hungry, because you just got off work. You know, she said we can eat on the couch. Like I asked the host, can they eat on the couch? And she's like, yeah. And, you know, I'm like, do you want them to wear their shoes? She's like, yeah, I don't care. Or, no, take them off, whatevs, right? Like it's polite to do that kind of stuff. And then they're eating on the couch and I'm going around. X marks the spot. Welcome to the party. Sniff that. Give it a minute. Sniff this chick sitting next to you. They get all excited because I'm like, first we're going to sniff, then we're going to lick. And then they're like, ooh, lick. So they start getting excited and they start coming out of the kitchen to the living room or into the dining room or wherever we're at, and we're hanging out to do the party. Or in the backyard because the weather gets nice. That's always nice. So when we get started, we're all kind of hanging out. I've handed everybody the menu and my pen. Now, pens you can purchase. I've been using cheappens.com for like the last 11 of my 14 years. They're an old company, but they're great. You can get like 300 of these bad boys. They're clickable. They've already got our logo. They don't charge you more for uploading our logo. You just put Pure Romance there. They know they got to put the heart on it. You can get up to 3 or 4 lines, $90 for 300 of these bad boys. And I buy them once a quarter and I make sure I run out once a quarter. My own little challenge to myself. So everybody gets a pen and paper. Then we play what's called how you like it, where you like it. Now this really gets people like leaving the other places in the house to get to the party because they start hearing us play this game. How you like it, where you like it is a quick intro game that there's no specific winners or losers. It gives you a chance to get to know the room. It gives you a chance to get a feel. Is this going to be more of a milder group or is this going to be more of a wilder group? Let me see which direction I can go tonight with these folks. Because maybe, you know, it's your first in-home party or it's your first party with this new friend who is introducing you to all these new people. Like there's 5, 10, you know, 15 new people. But most average party is about 5, you know, people. So you're still excited, definitely. And the how you like it, where you like it, I started off with me. I kick it over to the hostess next. So we can kind of lead by example and everybody can kind of play along. And there's no right or wrong way, but the challenge is in the name of the game, how you like it and where you like it. And then I joke around. I'm like, hey, girls, we're at a sexy party. We're talking about sexy time. How and where do you like your sexy time today? And then I joke because it could change tomorrow. Haha. But I say, you have to use the first letter of your name to tell us how and where you like it. That's the challenge. And then I say, if you got family in the room, you can totally scare the shit out of each other. Or you can just say pass. I respectfully decline. You can totally, not play. I'm not here to force anybody to do anything. And then I joke around. I'm not here to force anybody that doesn't want to do anything today. So how you like it, where you like it, with the first letter of your name. My name's LaWanda. Hi, everybody. My name's LaWanda. And I like it loud in the laundry room. And then I'll jokingly say, on that one cycle where shit's bouncing to the right and it feels like it's going to break. And everybody laughs. So I'll say lazy in the lagoon if it's more of a milder party. It's just something I've always said, lazy in the lagoon, something like that. But how and where, I kick it over to my hostess, Jennifer, for example. Jennifer, how and where do you like it today? And then I say, everybody say thank you to Jennifer, because this is her house. She put out snacks. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Jennifer. The hostess loves that shit. If just do it, man. It's free. Doesn't cost you a damn second. But yeah, Jennifer, how and where do you like it today? Let's kick off the party.
Trying to think of Jay.
Put you on the spot. I know it's like Jeopardy. We got 10 other friends in the room or 5 other friends in the room. We can call in a friend. And that's when you got your freaky friend. This is how you get to know the crowd. The freaky friend gets up and says, she like a juicy. In the jungle. I don't know. So there, but what would you say?
Juicy in the junkyard.
Oh, you naughty girl. Back in the truck, the smell of oil in the background. It's like a good man's sweat or something, or a good woman's sweat. It's, they work hard. I like it. So do you see how that works? And then you got people scribbling on their party menus because they're like, oh my gosh, I haven't said the word juicy in the bedroom in forever. They'll start coming up with their naughty language all of a sudden because somebody's named, Karen or Kathy, and they're like kinky in the kitchen. So that's always awesome. And I tell people by the end of the party, even if there's only 3 people in front of me, we go around the room, I get to know their name. It helps me associate their name with something fun. And so I'll say stuff like, Juicy Jen, how you doing, boo? Come on back to the shopping room. They love it all night. You just have this for them. And then I tell them at the end of the game, hey, now we all have new ideas for how and where we could like it tomorrow. Woo woo. And then I mention go through the whole alphabet with your friends on your next road trip or your next board drinking night, A through Z, how and where. It's a lot of fun, no lie. So that's how I do the intro game. Everybody's excited. It gets everybody talking, even the shy gals in the corner who are unsure if they were even going to come. They gets everybody kind of in a mood, which is wonderful, especially if they just came from work or if they just dropped off like 6 kids with their husband and all they want to do is disconnect from their phone. They need that disconnection. So that gets them fired up. You get to feel for the room. And then people, start to get excited. So there's that. I move in to sniff my coochie because you're going to want your coochie to smell that good too. Pass a couple of those things around for them to smell. Maybe 2, 3 of those to smell. Not 8. You don't want the nose to go nuts. You want them to be excited about the next thing. I'll definitely, we already talked about basic instinct. I talk about that. Coochie, always, because you never know who's in the room, who's never heard of it. And it's our top seller, been our top seller for all 30-something years. Then I usually talk about, the heart massager, right now it's the tie me up tape, or you could do the tickle and whip. And most of the time it's either bosom buddy or between the sheets. Those are my 5, in that mild and, side. And then I move, I talk about, I could do a demo for each of these right now, but I'm just not. But they're very, very good products that people come back and purchase more of often enough, or they tell their friends about often enough. So then more people have showed up by that point and they've done their the people are doing the how you like it, where you like it's for the late girls, which is great. They show up and they walk in, they're like, oh, that's Mary. She likes it messy in the, men's room or some shit. And whatever. And we just keep rocking. I hand her a party menu. She grabs a cocktail or, a treat and she sits with us and we keep moving. I never stop. I know it sounds crazy, but I never stop a party. I don't even stop for a cigarette break. I used to stop for like a 10, 20-minute cigarette break, and I try to bring them back for the toys. And for me, it just never worked out. So especially like I would do it for a whole year. No lie. I would try it for a whole year, and I would try it in different ways. I would call it a commercial break. I would, now I literally do an hour or less show. If I have smokers in front of me, they'll take off and have their cigarette. If I have a girl that's got to pee, because I don't restrict them to stay there. And I do mention that, especially after that first part, especially after that first game. I'll say, okay, guys, we're getting into lickable stuff now, because by now they've eaten their snacks. I've talked about a few things. They've been sitting there for a few minutes, and I tell them, I'm like, we're getting into lickable stuff now. Get excited. I got Q-tips, for you to lick off of, because of pandemic. And I pass around. I usually talk about the couples tingle cream, but I usually give out Q-tips of the whipped, vanilla buttercream stuff. I do talk about the toy cleaner at this point. And I love to talk about either the swing or the bed bondage and beyond, or the spreader, because it's about teasing, it's about foreplay, it's about fantasy. If you're not doing those things, sensations, that's about touch, taste, feel, breathing on it. I could do that demo, but I'm not. It's either the sensations or it's the just like me. Between those two lubricants that I like to show as part of the foreplay conversation. And I always start that second part going into foreplay and conversation about that, because I've already talked about teaching and massaging and body and skin in the first part. And so now talking about foreplay, I say it, foreplay happens with your hands in your mouth. Let's talk about it, friends. You're rooting around like animals at some point, and confidence starts to go downhill, and so can your orgasm if the flavor ain't right. And you don't want to start spitting on each other because you both just had wings at the bar, okay? And you just both had liquor or some kind of booze and some kind of fun. Or they just had a cigarette break or a smoke break, a vape break, or some kind of break. You don't want to spit all that bacteria or a cannabis break. You want to use a lubricant. You want to use tingling stuff. You want that flavor, because sometimes when you're rooting around, during foreplay, you're kissing certain places, you're touching certain places, and then what's going to happen? You're going to be like this. You're going to be, what's up, honey? I appreciate all of that. I'm going to kiss your ear now. I'm going to kiss out of your neck. I'm never going to kiss you on the mouth for the next 20 minutes of sex we're going to have, because I either got the dick breath, you got the vag breath, something's happening with the breath that's mixing with the wings and the alcohol, and there's just something going on over here that I don't want to make out with anymore. and so flavors is important during that foreplay, to have that flavor. So you're not, okay, I've said flavor way too many times there. It's all about the flavor. It's confidence boosting. It's arousing. It takes you to it's like when your bra and your panties match. Okay. And when your bra and your panties match, you're willing to do some things differently. Your confidence is through the roof. You feel like the most powerful woman ever. So that's where we come in as consultants to say, take your power back. And I do talk about a little bit of lingerie at that point during all that lubricant talk too, when it comes down to it, because lingerie is your segue and your gateway drug into bondage. No lie. If you've ever, like I tell people all the time, before I talk about the restrictive stuff, the bed bondage and swing, I talk about lingerie. It's a little restrictive in itself. And sexy is not a size, it is an attitude. So you rock that body you got. They're just looking at your butt, boobs, and vag anyways. And if your vag tastes like buttercream icing or cotton candy, nobody cares anymore. You don't even care anymore. You will literally do what the new kids on the block are saying. They call it a clam slam, okay? And I just learned this the other damn day, and I love it. It's the version of a tea bag for the gentlemen, but now it's a clam slam for the females. Let's do it. Your confidence will go through the roof with a cotton candy clam slam. Okay, so moving on. This is the next game I play. And the next game I play is I call it Romeo and Juliet. But it's been called a lot of stuff over the years, especially around the 50 Shades era. We called it Anna and Christian. And it's pretty much where I'm going to use either sensations or just like me. I tell them at this point that Pure Romance consultants get continuing education through doctors. And those doctors help us make our creams and our lubricants so they're safe for the inside, for the outside, for the upside, the downside, all the sides. And you can lick them and you can feel them and you can use the unflavored stuff every day. if you want to just to keep comfortable after surgeries or during certain recoveries from UTIs and things. Like there's so many reasons why we need extra hydration. So I tell them, and lately, because it's been so chilly, I've been using the cotton candy sensations more often for this game. And so I'll just use the Romeo and Juliet as the basic. And I go around the room, and even if there's only 2 or 3 people or 4 people, I partner them up, right? If there's only 3 people, I'm like, haha, threesome, how y'all doing? And they never mad when I say that. They're like, oh, yeah, my first threesome. And I'm like, oh, if you're in a mild party, you'll know. They'll be like, oh, my first threesome. If you had a wild party, they start smacking each other's ass at that point. Like, I'm gonna get you tonight. I got you before. Like they already like whatevs. You're there for it, right? So, but this is how it plays out, right? I partner them up. I'm like Romeo, Juliet. So everybody's partnered up. And I tell them, I'm like, you can switch roles if you want to. That's very mainstream today. It's 2023, friends. And that's my little segue into that. But I say it's a fingering game. That's what it is. It's a fingering game. And what they do is Romeo is going to be this. Okay. I'm like, okay, put down your pens, put down your paper. Romeo, nice stiffy, just like this, friends. Okay. Juliet, you're going to be a nice tight hole. And if you got big nails or older, mature, typed for a long time hands and your knuckles just don't go down, just go across the thumb and make me a little booty hole, please. And they're like, what? And I'm like, no joke. I learned from a doctor that the same skin on your hand is the same skin on your butt. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, that's why we're going to do this for this exercise. And I tell them, I'm like, okay, right now, try to get in her hole. Like 75% of couples are out there trying to do. They're using spit, which is in porn, great fantasy, not great for everyday reality though. And I'm like, spit on each other all day. It's a great fetish, but just don't rely on it as a lubricant. So don't spit on her holes out there. And, or if they're online and I'm in a virtual room, I'll be like, okay, make your own hole and your own stiffy and now try to get it. And sometimes, especially if I've got a virtual party that's some time away, I'll mail them some samples. So they actually have the samples to try during this game online. Just so you know, for future reference, anybody doing an online party in a couple of weeks or plan one for next month or something, send them some pre-samples so they'll actually be with you in the moment during this game. So one's Romeo, one's Juliet. They don't spit on each other. Ha, ha, ha. They can't get in or they just get the tip in. Hoo, hoo, ha, ha. That hurts. You're walking funny at Target the next day if you don't use lubricant. There, I said it. Then I come around with the sensations. Boop, boop, boop. They get in so easily. Oh, it smells so good. And then I tell them, go ahead and lick yourself after you're done fingering each other or fingering yourself. And they start licking it and they taste it. And it's amazing. Boom, everybody won. Yay for that game. Everybody got in. Yay. And then I come around with the toy cleaner. That's how I kind of end that session with them before I move into the gun case. Or in my, in my world, it's a gun. It's this. It's on the ground. I love it. It used to be my wow factor before the big store on wheels. It's a double wide barrel gun case that I bought from Dick's Sporting Goods after hunting season, on sale $72.95. I still know this because I booked a party with the cashier while I was buying this because she was asking me what kind of gun I owned. So you know what kind of gun I own that I told her I was putting in this case. And here, I can even open this shit up. Look at this. Let me get back and let me just unhinge it. And literally after they're done fingering each other, I come around with the cleaner. They're all cleaned up. Some of them get up to go wash their hands because I'm like, you just had a threesome. They're like, I gotta go wash my hands. That's fine. Go wash your hands, go have a cigarette, go grab some more food. I tell them, I'm like, look, you don't want to go too far because I'm doing raffle tickets. And that is the next, I tell them that's the next game. I'm giving away something for free. Who likes free shit? I do. And so there I go. That's going to be my next game. And my next game is where I kind of incorporate all the work games. That's where I do the booking, the sponsoring, and the connecting. So that's where I have them scan this. I have them, if you don't have something to scan, that's totally fine because I have them do both. I have them scan me, but I also have them text me. And so at the top of my party menu, it says, text me the word fun. Excuse me. And my phone number is underneath. the whole number, because you never know where you might be partying, right? Or whose phone number's got what kind of area code. They might be, you know, from a different area code. So you put your whole number there, and I tell them, you'll get a ticket. Text me the word fun. You'll get a ticket if you scan this and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So they're all doing that. And then I do the ask me anything, and they have to ask me something about my business, not like my business with my husband on a Tuesday night, what kind of position y'all like, okay, but like my business, you know, like how much money you make, do you travel, does the company give you any training, like what do you know, like what questions do you have? So I get a ticket for that, and that's the Ask Me Anything sponsoring game. It's very classic. And then I have a dice for the booking game. And the booking game is the 1999 dice that hung around my rear view mirror in my high school car. Because it used to be 2 of these dice, but now I just have 1 after all these years. And I tell them that story too. I'm like, y'all, I had one of those really cool hot rod cars. This used to hang from it. So they get to kind of know me a little bit. And I tell them, you know, a little bit about me at that point. I almost kind of do my I story at that point. I tell them how I grew up real sheltered. I didn't talk about sex. And now I talk about it every day, and I empower others to embrace it on their journeys. And I want to keep the party going. So that's like something I say. I'm like, I want to keep this party going. I don't want it to stop tonight. I don't want it to end. So I'm going to give everybody this dice, you know, while people are washing their hands and people are scanning and people are texting me right before I open this, because they know this is next. They need to roll the dice. And this is all happening. This is technically my break before the toys, but I don't call it a break. I've stopped doing that over the years, because when I call it a break, I take too long of a break. Maybe it's just me thing. You can call it a break for a while, see how it rocks and rolls with you. But I keep them actively doing something, you know, all the time kind of thing. But if they need that cigarette, because I tell them, I'm like, I know it only takes 7.5 minutes. I was a cigarette smoker for 20 years. I get it. 7.5 minutes later, come on back. Come on back. We're getting in here. You gonna miss this. I'm gonna start this without you. And that's when they're like, really? She would? I'm like, yeah, I got no. So, okay, the dice game, the booking game, they roll the dice. They write the number down on the top of their party menu, and I tell them about it later. That is the power of teasing, also known as foreplay to the mind. Okay? We're in the job of teasing, my friends and Jen. Okay? We got to tease them somehow, some way. Do it by, you know, showing a couple of products. Don't show them all the products. Do it with a couple of games. Don't play all the games. Tell them you have other games, and I do. I'll have a couple others that I can sprinkle into some newer parties. But no lie, they're very happy with all the things I do already. So I've never really had to change it up too much. But they do this, they write it down. This is a 6-face dice. You can honestly do this with any face dice. It could be smaller, it could be bigger, what else, right? You can go on Amazon and buy like one of those big fun ones for like $20 or something, if you really wanted to do that. Each number represents something different, of course. And like I said, I don't tell them until I'm done with the gun case. So at this point, I've had a couple people ask me questions. I've had a couple people scan me, text me, roll the dice. I'm ready to rock and roll, right? So I'm moving into the gun case. I'll go ahead and just tell you what I tell them later. So before I just move into this and really squirrel out, right? Six face dice. I know this sounds nuts, but I will add whatever number they roll. I'm like, okay, guys, thank you. I wrap up the gun show. Let's just pretend that's over. Woohoo, gun! I show about 5 things out of here, and I sing a song to open it up. I'm like, no, look at this stuff. Isn't this neat? It's a Little Mermaid song. I sing a song. It's great. We open it up. I talk about cleaning it, storing it in totes, lubricating it with the lubes. I show about 5 or 6 toys. I do pass them around, but I don't pass around like Adventurer or Twilight Mood, because people have broke those on me and I'm just not in the mood. So I won't pass anything that's bendable or has holes that they can shove their pens in, because no lie, dumbasses who are drunk do shit like that. And that's $100 investment that I made to put here for people to see. So you can choose to pass or not pass these $100 devices, you know, these $50 to $100 devices. So, or $200 devices in some of them, but definitely have them touch a few, even if you walk around with them. And definitely a couple of rules that I usually talk about is I'm not here to replace anybody you love, even if it's this thing. Okay. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to teach you, to give you permission and give you room to practice and have fun and possibly use this with your partner one day, or just not, just use it by yourself and get them something to use too, because why not? I talk about how you got to keep them lubed up because these little machines were made by little machines. All right. Don't just spit all over it. And then I talk about the cleaning. Do not use anything else but our toy cleaner. And if you do spend over $200 on your toy, you will be signing something in my shopping room that you did not buy our toy cleaner. And then they get real like, whoa, and I'm like, yeah, because I care about your vagina that much. Okay. And I care about that $200 investment you just made. Okay. Do you want me to care or not care? Like, which way do you want me to go today? And they get like really surprised. And I'm like, it is $18. It is going to last you a year. It is, hello. You're going to have a lot of sex with this new device. So I'm like, don't put it in the dishwasher. Don't put it in the soak cycle in your washing machine. There's been some dumbasses out there. They're like, ah. So I'm done with the gun show, the party thing. All the toys are back in. I close it up. I bring out, if I haven't done the passing out of the raffle tickets yet for all the stuff they did, I then start passing out the raffle tickets. I usually have something seasonal, like a bag for spring, or a bunny little basket from the dollar store filled with some samples or something, just real simple, real cheap. Don't spend a lot of money on that door prize. I've spent a lot of money on that door prize. You don't need to spend a lot of money on that door prize, because they get excited no matter what they win. Then I tell them about the number, and I tell them about my next team meeting. I usually say, hey, if you're really interested in learning more, come pop a squat with us, you know, around the corner, my house, once a month we get together. And they're like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah, there's one. Come on over. And then the dice game, if they rolled a 1, that a 2, a 3, or 4, or 5, I tell them whatever you spend tonight, this is your big gift. And I tell them that this is your big gift. Whatever you spend tonight, let's say you go in there and you spend $100 with me in the shopping room, I'm going to add that as your first order at your next party. And I'm going to increase it by whatever number is on the dice. So for example, and then she's like, what does that mean? I'm like, well, if you spent $100 and you rolled a 6, that's $160. If you rolled a 1, that's $110. But that's already sales at your party. The party that we're going to keep going. So please shop here. Help Jen at her party. Because I mean, look at her. She put snacks out. Let's all say thank you, Jen, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Jen. Yes, Jen, what was the number you rolled? I rolled a 5. Well, that's $50 more. If we can find 3 women at your party, if she has only 3 women at her party, I'll knock it down to 2. Okay. I'll say if she can find 2, but always more than 2. Okay. If she's got 20 people in front of you, knock that shit up to 5. All right. And you will say that, you'll say, if we can find 3 women, even women who could not be here, they're not in the living room, we miss them. And they missed out. If we can find 3, then you're going to get another $50 to spend with me after their parties. And I'll even double that. I'll even double that to $100 as long as every single one of them have their party. And that's where she goes ballistic. And she's like, what? I'll usually double the hostess because she's going to help me hold those 3 parties. She's going to bug those friends, you know, and guess what? If only 2 of them hold, ain't nobody mad. I have to let her know that she's not getting 100. Maybe I give her like 25. I'm like, I had to knock it down because we only had 2 of the 3 and nobody's mad. I'm like, this is a beautiful business I run, and I'm here to hook you up. And I'm here to hook them up. Let's say her order, you know, she comes in the shopping room, you look at her party menu, she rolled like a 5, and you're like, hey, let's keep the party going. You got $50 more that you can spend at your party. Because that's where all these rewards and gifts are happening, guys. Don't give her 50 today. Make sure she invites you over and she has a friend or 2. $50. And I'll tell her that. I'll be like, you know, if she only spends $50, I'll still add it and I'll still count that as $100 order at her party already. And us as consultants, we give back. And you don't have to go into all this with your hostess, but as a consultant, just so you know, we give back 10% of the party sales to our hostess in free products. That's practically the baseline of hosting a pure romance party. If we do more than that, a discounted item, an extra gift, yes. But the baseline is she gets 10% of the party sales. So if she asks you, she's like, well, what does that mean? $100? Because usually they're just like, oh, I already got sales. They don't usually ask much more. I've had maybe briefly people ask, what does that mean? I'm like, well, that's more free products in your pocket. I'll explain it at your party, because you don't really want to get her stressed out about anything. You just want to tell her, get the girls there. I'll do my job. They'll shop with me. No worries. Just get the girls there. Because they'll be like, well, do I have to have so much of this in sales or so much of that? I stopped putting stipulations on my booking game years ago, and it really freed up a lot of stress on both me and the hostess. And I tell her all the time, just get me the girls, give me the friends, let me do my job. I'll show them a good time. Boom, saw. So in the party, not in the shopping room. I'm sorry if I just took us to two different places. So I'm wrapping up the party. I've closed up the gun case. The tickets are out. Everybody's rolled the dice. I've told them what they're getting. The hostess gets excited about her number as well, because I usually try to double that, you know, if she gets 3 parties to hold for us. And I'll tell them, I'll be like, who's going to be the next girl? And somebody will say, oh, I'll help out. I've been wanting to have one of these. And I'm like, okay, she's got one. She just needs 2 more. And that really helps the hostess. She's like, oh, let me go ask, you know, the neighbor that never showed up. And I'm like, okay, she's got 2. She needs 1 more. And no joke, usually by that point, somebody else is like, oh, fine, I'll help her out. You know, so I know it's a lazy kind of booking game, because it's a lot of conversation and it's not a lot of like envelopes or cute little boxes or other booking games that people do out there. And if you try this one and you don't book any parties after a couple of parties, then you know, I need to change this shit up. And that's what I did for years and years and years. I would just change shit up and I found my rhythm. You know what I'm saying? So booking game, the sponsor game is Ask Me Anything. I told him what the dice thing is. We do the thank you, Jennifer, one more time. I usually, if there's, you know, a decent amount of participation and stuff, you know, I'll pull a winner. And if, you know, if I have another sample, maybe not a whole nother bag of samples, but another sample, I'll pull a second runner up. People get, especially if you got a couple people in front of you, you know. So that's always exciting. And then I tell them, I'm like, I'll be in the shopping room for the next half an hour. You got to get in there. You got to shop with me before I need to leave. Thank you so much to Jennifer, our host again. She's going to come in last so I can tally up all the sales and give her the most goodies. You could say something like, she already won $25 from me to spend. So woohoo, she's already got money to spend. But thank you guys. Keep shopping because that helps her out too. Can't wait to see y'all at the next party. Happy orgasms to all and to all a good night. I move into the shopping room. They already miss me. So they're usually running in there to ask questions, or maybe they got a babysitter at home. I'll say that too. I'll be like, who's got a curfew? Who's got a baby? Come on in here. Who's want to carry the gun case? They're like, I can carry the gun case. I'm like, yeah, into the shopping room. Let's go. You want to shop, right? So at that point, goodness gracious, that was 25 minutes. I'm so sorry. That is my party, give or take, beginning, middle, and end. And I know a lot of consultants have been asking me for that. So I'm going to stop the recording now so we can keep it short and sweet, kind of. Thank you to Jen who let me do that. And I hope that helped her, because she's got a great party coming up. And I know that I tried to say that funny one-liners and routes to my games and stuff, but I'm gonna stop the recording so she can always replay it in her ear with some popcorn. Love you, Jen. I'm gonna turn this off. Thanks for watching replays, whoever that was.